Hey everyone, it's been a little bit. So this video is gonna be about To Your Eternity's ending. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like how the story ended because it feels very rushed and incomplete. I don't understand why Japanese authors have like this tendency to create like a big story that they cannot handle and they just, try to finish it off in a rush. Now, on one hand, you make like a smaller story, you get something like Demon Slayer, which is an okay story with an okay impact on forums and news outlets. I can't really say it has an okay impact because it did get a movie and international release and such, but it's just like, as a reader, I don't find it being that unique. I think Demon Slayer would be the perfect entry anime because it's a short anime that has a beginning and an end that ends in a relatively nice tone. Basically kindergarten material that you can't really go wrong recommending people to watch. Now, on the other hand, you can make a longer story like One Piece or Dragon Ball, but then that shit just like goes on forever. To Your Eternity feels like it falls into like the middle ground-ish, but it falls short of hitting the sweet spot. Most authors, in my opinion, just have a really hard time choosing that sweet spot. Like, I was gonna say Dungeon Meshi kind of fits into this sweet spot, but I don't recall what happened to Marcel and like the gang at the end of the story. The story was good. The way Lyos like handled the situation feels like comical but in character. I just cannot recall if the ending is satisfactory. Like, I know it's not a good ending for some of the characters in there, but I'm not gonna spoil who, but I don't know. I consider a story ending successfully or good if it answers some of the most major questions in a story. Like, a random metric I just made up on the spot as I'm recording this would be like, if you have an arc dedicated to something, or like 20% of the story being revolved around something, you should have a satisfying answer to that question, not just sweep it under the rug, which I'll talk about for To Your Eternity way later. It just does not make sense to have a plot point that takes up so much time from the reader's perspective and do nothing with it. I hate that shit. I genuinely hate that shit. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is like completely my personal opinion. I think no good story ever come out of having cosmic elements or power scaling. Let me elaborate on that. So, in terms of cosmic elements, I mean like entities that are on the cosmic scale. Because nobody can rein that shit in. Once you have something approaching concepts of infinity or like being able to create planetary bodies, a lot of the situations in the story feels like it should not happen, because like if you have an entity this fucking powerful, they should be omnipotent and solve everything. Like, what is the reason behind their inaction? You just can't have a good reasoning for that. Like, that is in the realms of literal like perfection, which how can you have an imperfect thing be perfect or vice versa? Like, it just would not make sense story-wise. Now, in terms of power scaling, that's more so introducing like a new villain of the week, or like introducing a new crisis that's like more dangerous than ever, or like worse than the previous one. So I consider that power scaling, which causes the MC need to get stronger. I don't like that. If I want to turn my brain off, sure, I'll enjoy that kind of slop, but I don't like those type of stories. It's very unnecessary. And the end point of all those type of story is just literally Dragon Ball Z, like to go above and beyond. That's it. Like, what the fuck is the next level of Tangan Topa? Like, what? I don't know, 4-dimensional beings. It would be dope if you could write a story about 4-dimensional beings without a mathematical like PhD, but I have yet to see it, so I don't believe that's a thing. Perhaps like this is why I myself am more drawn towards like isekais, because I'm more intrigued by new worlds, new concepts, and trying to see how the author explains and expand this new world. That is still within the realm of possibilities. You are a flesh and bone being trying to understand this material world that may or may not have magic, but like this magic is not on the scale of like just being able to resolve all of your issues. Perhaps it's just like stories that are more like slower paced and more personal and just more like emotionally gratifying rather than like exciting and shonen, for which I have only my taste to blame. So all of this is really just to preface how distraught and like upset I am with the story's conclusion. Back to Your Eternity. So why am I so upset? It's mainly because the author managed to create a quote-unquote happy ending, which felt very sloppy and sad. Don't ask me how they fucking managed to do that. They did do that. You'll kind of have to find out for yourself. Going forward, all of this will be spoiler contents. It should be in the title, but in case you missed it, this will be just complete spoilers. So let's start with this. There's a knocker in the final arc of the story, which I'm pretty sure is the same knocker that was in Hayase's arm, like that followed through the entire lineage. Like I'm pretty sure that's the same one. This knocker fused themselves into Fushi's body, right? And then at some point, while these two beings are living their life, the knocker decides to just escape out of Fushi's body and then ascended into paradise, presumably to reincarnate into a human so they can eat a fruit and do other things. From what Fushi said, it seems like the knocker is jealous that they cannot eat a pear, or something pretty innocuous. Now you would think, oh, that's pretty cute. So like they set aside their differences, right? Surely the knocker is gonna come back as something and be revealed at least towards the end of the story. Nope. Fuck no. Not at all. We do not see this fucking Hayase knocker at all. What the fuck is the point of this story? I don't know. Now, prior to the ending of whatever the fuck the story is, which knocker? I don't even know which knocker, because again, I'm not confident if this is the same knocker in Hayase's arm. Which fucking knocker was Fushi even fighting? Is it the same leader knocker? Or there's multiple fucking leaders in the knockers. That's what we learned in the modern era. You can have multiple fucking leaders. So the story ended in chapter 201. In chapter 200, we have an entire fight sequence with zero explanation. It's a one-sided narration by Fushi himself trying to vibe check the knocker. Bro was essentially talking to nothing because the fucking knocker has no reaction besides just visceral violence. Like it looked like Fushi get turned into fucking dust every couple of seconds, and like what did bro learn? What did we learn? I don't know. Like Fushi's just turning into dust and shit. What is happening with the orb? Why can the knocker touch the orb and not just kill everything? Like what is the point of these scenes? To me, it seems like they're trying to convey, oh, the knockers are simply disturbed by existence as a concept, intruding upon their non-existence. Like, the black one creating this world disturbed their lack of existence. That's what I think, but I'm not sure, because, you know, fucking not explained. I'm going to flash a picture on the screen here and, like, explain what I got out of it. I think this panel probably is trying to tell us the motivation of the knockers, which again, I don't understand. Is it to say that once the concept of life is created, the knockers now have a knowledge of that, which leads the knockers to having a concept of death being born? And then somehow, like, you know, that leads to them worrying about themselves as immortal beings dying. Like it creates this natural fear of death. So when the death of immortal becomes a concept, I guess that's why the knockers move on to trying to kill Fushi, right? Like clearly the immortal could just mean Fushi, but I think it also means the knockers themselves. So in a way, in a really roundabout way of saying, immortals can also now die in some sense. Okay, so let's say the knockers want to destroy Fushi and existence itself so they could return to being conceptual entities that are not existing, but in a different plane from death. Like what? What does that mean? I don't know. No one understand what's the resolution with the knockers? Like what the fuck does chapter 200 have to do with anything? How does it lead into a tie or a draw for humanity and knockers? Like, did Fushi just tame this knocker? Or is it like the knocker inside of Hayase's arm, like, it just truly wanted Fushi as a lover? Like, what the fuck? Like, she was just in love somehow. Like, is it a conscious act that she dropped the ball of, like, omnipotence? Did she choose that? Or was that just her way of, like, expressing rejection of humanity. Like, I don't get it. Now, I wonder, separate from the conversation before, I wonder if publishing companies are just fucking over mangakas with stipulations like they need to fit shit into X pages and whatnot. Like, are their contracts so fucked up these days that a series have a anticipated date to end? So like the authors either have to like fucking wing it or plan the entire story from like day one. I know that some authors do plan from day one, but like other times some other authors are like they make shit up as they go. In any case, the ending again feels very rushed. 8 years of a story, but it feels like there's still like so many loose ends. And yeah, I'm sure the author is burnt out, but I don't think this is a satisfying ending or appropriate one. Because March became a mother, and her request for to Fushi is that, hey, I want to not be an immortal anymore. I want to leave and depart this world when my child dies. And then Fushi acts like a bitch and be like, yo, I want all of you guys hang out at least 300 more years with me. Like, bro, you just ignored someone who dedicated their life to you. You ignored their wishes. What the fuck have you learned? I don't know. I just find it really repulsive. Like, it irritates me. It really is grating. Like, you could have, as an author, you could have just let March have her happy ending and have Fushi be less of a bitch and be like, okay, I understand. And maybe like they cry it out. Because this is literally what the modern arc was talking about. Being able to let go, being able to deal with death. Like, that was the whole point of Yuki and like, you know, that entire generation passing away. Like, ignoring the fact that bro has lived hundreds of years seeing multitudes of like generations dying. Like, he again gets hang up on the concept of like, you know, close ones or loved ones dying. Like, sure, whatever, that shit is done and dealt with. No, still here, man, still an issue for him. Like, bro, how much of a baby can you get? You have fucking eons of experience. Now moving on to the next thing. Like, the last 20 chapters of this fuck-ass story is some of the hardest shit I have ever read. Like, even before the last 20 chapters, I have some difficulties reading, but it really amped up in like, whatchamacallit, it really amped up in severity in the past 20. Like, this entire Cyberpunk arc has a noticeably like worse visual clarity and narrative flow. It's probably a given when you have an MC that can transform on a fucking whim, so like sometimes the transformation effect could be ignored. And then you have scenes where it makes sense to have characters just appear out of nowhere because the MC could just spawn them in. And then there's also the fact that there's necessary plot twists to make things more exciting, so things are bound to like give you some sort of shock. So you get yourself like a perfect fucking shitstorm of what the fuck am I reading, like type of feeling. I'm pissed off. I'm so fucking pissed off. Like, can somebody explain to me what the fuck is going on with the knockers in the end, bro? I'm just so fixated on that because we have an entire story, not just about an immortal, but also about this enemy of existence. And now we have to just accept that they exist among us. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? What did the knockers desire? Why did they migrate into Fushi's body? No conclusion to that. Nothing. We don't understand shit. Is it implied that the knockers gave up after realizing they cannot destroy Fushi's body? Or like the fact that, you know, two godlike powers cannot cancel each other out. Like, they have no power over each other. It's like two zeros trying to fight each other to see which one has like a greater positive value or a greater negative value. It just doesn't make sense. Oh my god, I'm so hanging up on the fact that like Fushi is so immature after all these fucking thousands of years. Like, yes, it's painful to say goodbye, but has he done that before? I'm pretty sure he has. Where the fuck is like Perona and the princess, by the way? Like, how did he manage to revive a whole dead fucking civilization but failed to reincarnate people moments prior to the knockers fight? What is happening? If I have to guess, yes, I'm literally filling in the blanks here. If I had to guess, Fushi was inside of a circle that was outside the flow of time, and he was in fact managing and processing information within that sphere. And when it seemed like he has a good hold on his abilities, the bubble dissolves and put him back into like the real world. So now he has like actual omnipotent abilities, right? Like, why do I have to explain this shit or like make up some bullshit in my head to justify why things happen? Putting all this dog shit aside, I think I like the Cyberpunk arc. We could leave the discussion of if it's necessary to even have a Cyberpunk arc for a different time. But since the author have already chosen to do so, I think we should just talk about if the arc was effective, right? Personally, I think the author managed to wiggle the puzzle pieces enough to make me suspend my disbelief. I am involved enough to give it a pass. I say this all the time, but basically there was thought put behind on characters' actions and like their thought process. So I'm happy with that. The author did the readers a solid in avoiding misunderstandings. There's rationale and good proper plot reasoning behind why the characters act the way they do and why they are not communicating with each other. Like the really annoying trope of like not having characters talk to each other is like it does occur, but let me preface with the fact that it does get resolved relatively quickly. And even if they don't like resolve it right away, there's like no impact on the story, and it doesn't lead to like a death of a character for no fucking reason. So I give it a pass in that aspect. The arc's main character is definitely not Fushi, but the doll, which is an interesting choice. After finishing the story, I think it might have been a mistake as we became like way too attached to the characters in the Cyberpunk era, and we didn't leave enough room to develop the relationship of the Immortals and Fushi any further. Again, clearly is a problem at the end of the story since nothing came out of like Fushi and Tonari's relationship, and it seems like Fushi is still not ready to move on from like these people who've been with him for thousands of years at this point. So if they had talked through their wishes in this arc, I think the ending would have been like clearer and less rushed. One really unique and cool aspect about this arc is that the author managed to reuse multiple objects as characters, which I do not believe has been done in any story before. The closest thing that comes to mind is probably the movie 9, and that's a major spoilers. Like if you know what the movie 9 is, you could probably guess the link here between, or the connection here between like the doll main character and the main character in 9. So this alone makes me think that arc has value in being written. What I do find odd is that the Immortals are supposed to be wanted criminals, but these two objects, dolls, are sold as goods. And one of the dolls is a nursery toy with programming that leads it to view one of the child Immortals as their mother, which is confusing. Like, why do you have child products stemming from a Immortals toy that is programmed to recognize the child Immortal as their mom? Like, I don't know, whatever this case is, it never got resolved. It's just a very odd thing to include in the story. I have a lot more stuff to talk about, and I probably need a shitload more time to like get my thoughts in order, but I just want to get this stuff out first because it's my very visceral first impression with the ending. God, I hate it. It's just, wow, fucking disappointing that we never learn what made Hayase's knocker and like Nono's knocker so special. Legit, no other knockers behave like them. Oh, one more unique thing that the author did that just came to me as I was about to end the recording here is how the doll is operated. So it actually is a very cliche answer. The doll was being moved by a brain in a jar wirelessly. So that's not really surprising. What surprised me was the fact that the author chose to destroy the brain in the vat, and then the doll continued to move by itself. It's not an asshole, it's definitely not. I'm just like skipping through a lot of details. This is a subject of research for the doll original body and lab assistant. They basically succeeded in transferring the spirit, not just the mind, but like the entire soul and essence of a person into the doll. And then the confirmation of that occurred when the doll smashes her old brain into bits and pieces. and she did it without confirmation that she herself will survive. So it's just, I think it's a neat thing for the author to include. Okay, that's my assessment of the story. I think this story has done well in a lot of aspect. It just sucks that we don't have more chapters to spend with the immortals. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have seen this story, if you guys have not, somebody please answer my questions, bro. I'm so sad. Fuck. Have a good weekend, y'all. Catch y'all soon.